Hey guys, thank you for tuning into this episode of Influencers Network. We're sitting here with Ornella Harris. We spoke again last year, so we're bringing her back for this online season, of course, due to the pandemic going on right now. And she's going to share with us about her experience with the mental health industry, some of the projects she's working on outside of mental health as well, and see where the conversation goes.
All
Ornella,
right.
how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you, Mark?
Good, good, good. Yeah, thank you for tuning in with us again today. So tell us again who you are for the people that didn't watch your interview last season and what you do.
Okay, so I'm a registered psychotherapist. And so what that means is obviously I work in the mental health services industry.
Mhm.
I have been working in private practice for about 3 years now, and I was based out of Mississauga, but there have been some changes to my practice, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Of course.
But essentially, I would say that that's a big portion of the work that I do, but then also doing some workshops, consultations, and conferences as well.
Okay, not bad. So what does the bulk of your day consist of nowadays with everyone being?
Yeah. So the last time we spoke was probably about a bit over a year ago. I
Yeah.
think it was January.
Mhm.
So since then, there have been some changes as far as me really trying to strive for better work-life balance. So I've made some changes to my operating hours, such as reducing them,
Okay.
just so I can better balance other things that I wanted to do, which we'll get into, like, for example, music, which is something I did mention last time, was
Right.
some positive changes in that area as well, thankfully.
Yep.
So what I started to do is integrate the online therapy services more into my work. So
Mhm.
that's something I was already doing, but not as much as I am now.
Okay.
And as of January of this year, 2020, I decided to strictly go virtual. So I only
Okay.
do online therapy at this time.
And you made that change before this virus came up?
I did. A
Yeah.
lot of people were saying, are you psychic? How did this, come about? Because obviously it put me in a position where it wasn't a tough transition for me. So all of the, infrastructure was already in place essentially to make sure things work for me and the clients and new clients who are working with me now.
Okay. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious now what the inspiration behind that change was, but before all this happened, what pushed you to go completely online?
Well, I would say trying to pursue music, which is another big passion of mine,
Mhm.
something I've always been interested in since I was a child. So I felt that I did everything I needed to do to establish myself and pursue other interests that I had, such as the academic ones. And being a psychotherapist, being in the helping professions was something that was very important to me since I was
Right.
young. So it got to a point where it was difficult to balance, how much do I dedicate to being in the mental health industry, and then how much do I dedicate to being in the entertainment industry. So I was able to, I suppose, do both of those things by moving my business over to online so that I could travel
Yeah.
more. I went to New York, I think, a couple times since we spoke, maybe more than two times actually,
Very nice. Nice.
um, just to get some music done. And fortunately, I'm in a position now where that's actually happening, and I'm hoping to release something once things are in place. So
That's
that's
very cool.
going on.
Definitely talk about that soon. Now I know with again everything going on now, everyone's at home. They're stuck with their families or partners or whoever else it is, or stuck just with themselves.
Mhm.
What kind of changes or differences have you seen with the people you're consulting with regarding mental health or just staying sane in this crazy time?
Well, what's interesting is that we're so accustomed to being in a routine and also being very busy and what I would
Mhm.
consider being in survival mode.
Right.
So always, thinking about our checklist and what needs to get done. So it distracts us from really being with ourselves and really addressing the areas of our lives that need some focus, such as,
Mhm.
if our relationships aren't functioning well, that we do need to take out time to work on improving them, and as well as taking care of our own relationship with ourselves, right? So, what
Right.
that may need to look like for you. So, having more time with your thoughts can be a little bit unnerving, but at the same time, it's positive in the sense that it really gives you some time to see what it is that you haven't really been addressing and that you need to at this point.
Yeah. Can you
Especially
give anyone?
things are going to change once this pandemic kind of calms down, I think, right? So,
Of course. So can you give any tips for how to maintain that sanity during this time?
well, I will say one of the things that I've been really working on with clients is how to reconnect with your authentic self.
Okay.
So, what that really means is if you think about your inner child and who you were when you were really young, the
Mhm.
things that you enjoy doing, to do that more. Even if you can't leave the house, to know that you don't always have to leave the house in order to fulfill yourself, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of this time is a lot of introspection and self reflection, and that being different from self judgment. You know, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we should have done, what we should have done differently, what we're lacking, and really thinking from a place of deficit. So I
Mhm.
think it's a good time to really think about how you want to go into the next phase of your life with the identity that you can choose instead of fitting in with what you think has been ascribed for you.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just a lot of as I said, introspection. One
Mhm.
one thing that I think we need to do and be mindful of how our negative thoughts and limiting beliefs interfere with our abilities to overcome the fears that get in the way of us living the fulfilling lives that we want.
Right. And speaking of fulfillment, it seems like music is part of what's fulfilling you right now.
Well, I have to practice what I preach, right?
So how are you doing that? How are you practicing the music right now?
So it's been quite a journey. You know,
Mhm.
it's a bumpy road, right? With anything in life, it comes with its challenges and obstacles.
Right.
But it's been more fulfilling than anything, just to be at a point where I felt I could really focus and immerse myself in it without the fear that was holding me back before.
Mhm.
And that fear for me was just about putting myself out there in a very vulnerable way, which is something that I've personally been working on just as much as I encourage clients to do that for themselves and in their relationships. So
Right.
I've been working on some singles that I will be releasing later this year.
Okay.
And I'm just waiting to see how this pandemic affects everything, because right now everything is delayed and on pause. So hopefully by summertime, we'll see some music from Ornella coming out.
Of course. So is there anything that you can do on your own without having to go into studios or groups to actually record the music?
Well, writing. I mean,
Okay.
writing is something that never stops.
Right.
That's not an easy thing to do. I have been trying to work on, you know, gaining audio engineering skills. I probably need someone to help me with that, but it's a goal I have in the long term. But
Mhm.
for now, I really just want to get my music out because there is a catalog there. It's
Right.
just not released. So I'm hoping to share that piece of myself with everyone.
That's very cool. And
Yeah.
what else are you doing for fun when you're not working on the music or working with the psychotherapy?
I think a lot of Netflix.
Yeah.
Really
What
got
do
a
you
lot of
watch?
Netflix. I actually watched a really good show on Netflix yesterday,
Which one?
called Unorthodox. Um,
Okay.
and I would say a lot of reading and reflecting, like I was saying, writing,
Mhm.
yoga. I do a lot of comedic yoga. That's something that I've been taking up over the last 6 months or so.
Okay.
So I've been just trying to think about my emotional health, my mental health, and my physical health, and just being very holistic about feeling good overall.
That's very good. Yeah, there's definitely a time for self-reflection, for growth and progress as well, if you can find
Absolutely.
time for that.
Exactly.
That's cool. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to eventually hear your music and you launch it later in the year, or possibly ask you questions about the mental health as well?
If you're looking for more business stuff, then my website would be the place to go, which is ornellaharris.com. But
Okay.
as for music, just go to at Ornella Harris on Instagram and you can keep up to date with what's going on there.
Sounds good. And do you want to give us a sample of your music before we go?
Probably not. Just because there is actually something on my Instagram that I would encourage people to go take a look at, and it's a bit
Okay.
of BTS behind the scenes of a song that I'll be releasing in the coming months. So
Fair enough.
check out there. And actually, one thing that I do want to do is more performances, right? So look out for info on my Instagram there for when that
Okay.
will take place. So I'll save that tidbit for whenever people come and watch Ornella perform.
That's fair. So no social media now, but on Instagram, everything is there.
Exactly, exactly.
All right. Arnaud, thank you for your time. I appreciate our second conversation.
Of course, Mark. Thanks for having me once
All right.
again.
Talk to you very soon.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.